Here with your weather update.
Guys. It is Joker Day. And today we're going to mix it up. Do it.
Good morning out there to all you Panthers. I'm Ricky.
And I'm Landon. Today is Friday, February 28th.
It's a fantastic day to be a Panther. Your breakfast choices for Monday will be bacon and egg croissant and French toast sticks.
For lunch today, you will be offered choices of Pizza Crunchers, Country Chicken Bowl,
And Mr. Sharon's favorite, cookies.
You know it.
It's that time of our broadcast again.
We'd like to wish a very happy birthday to the following Panthers: John Sandstrom,
Our weekend birthdays are Quinn Rosenberger and Kirsten Mullins. For today's weather, we are looking at a high of 62.
and we are looking at a low of 36.
We are forecasted for a 2% chance of rain.
Hey Pinewood, Mr. Sharon. Just wanted to come on here and wish Coach good luck in his new endeavors and in his new career. You know, Coach and I have shared an office together for the last 3 years, and we've shared this great stage together for this whole year doing our joke of the day. And we really do play off each other really well. So it's going to be tough to replace him, but we'll find a way to keep this segment going. And Coach, good luck to you. And we're going to miss you here at Pinewood.
And we are back.
And it's Friday.
Friday. We are back. Yeah. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yep.
Hope y'all are having a good day. If you were asleep, I hope you're awake now. If anyone's still in your class asleep, look around. Put your hands up. Let's let them hear it. Friday. Now everyone is awake.
I am ready for the weekend.
I am ready for the weekend as well. I am ready for the joke
Of the
day.
day.
The joke of the day. All right. Here is the joke
Okay.
of the day.
All right.
What sound do porcupines make when they hug? A nice embrace. A nice embrace.
What
sound
Did
do
they make a
porcupines
sound?
make?
Sounds like things bristling together.
Like what
It's a scratching sound. Because all
Maybe.
all the bristles.
I mean, that's probably
all
like...
the, what do they call them? Not bristles. They call them. What are those called? The thorns? No.
Yeah. Someone do a research project for us.
They are called something. They're not
Quills.
needles. Quills. That's the word I'm
You don't have to
looking
do a
for.
research project. We
Coach,
got it.
Coach just gave you the answer. They're called quills.
Yeah, but research why they have quills.
Right.
Anyways, hopefully that's right.
What sound do they make when two of them hug?
So I think you're probably right. Like they truly make that sound, but you forgot this is a joke of the day.
Oh, so it needs to be a crazy answer.
All right, here you go. You ready? The sound porcupines make when they hug is, ouch! Ouch! Right?
Why didn't I think of that?
Poke, poke.
That's definitely the sound I would make
If
if I
you
hugged
were
a
to hug a
porcupine.
porcupine, if any of us hugged a porcupine, I'm sure it would be ouch.
It would probably be.
Yes.
Yes, it would be.
It would be ouch.
Yep.
That's what we would say.
It would be
Ouch!
Ouch. An extreme ouch.
Yes.
Well,
Anyways,
hey, have a beautiful weekend.
Have a wonderful
and
weekend.
we will see you back on.
Monday. All right, don't get them hyped too much.
I know.
Y'all have a good one. Peace.
See ya.
Hey team! We just want to say a special thank you to Coach for being the most amazing coach. You are definitely one of a kind.
And don't forget your favorite Jell-O with
Whipped topping.
and your fruit. We love you, Coach.
Hello, and welcome to First Chapter Friday. Today we're going to work with Gordon Corman's book, On the Run, Chasing the Falconers. It's the first book in the series. Here we go. It wasn't a prison, not technically anyway. No bar cells, electrified fencing, guard towers, or razor wire. People who drove by probably never noticed the logo of the Department of Juvenile Corrections on the mailbox that stood at the end of the long lane leading to Country Road 413. To them, this sprawling property was just another farm, one of thousands of dusty puzzle pieces that covered this part of Nebraska. Farm. Aiden Falconer winced. He hated that word. Sunnydale Farm, they called it, a name so deliberately cheerful it turned his stomach. His eyes took in that empty, far-flung acreage. This broad, flat land wasn't meant for crops. It was a barrier. Anybody trying to escape would have to cross that pool table flat boundary in full view of the supervisors for too many miles and too many minutes. It was as effective as a moat full of alligators. Welcome to Alcatraz Junior. True, there were a few farmy things, a modest cornfield and a few acres of soybeans. Busy work for the residents. Inmates, Aiden thought bitterly. Life at Sunnydale Farm was based on one simple principle, that the residents could not be allowed to so much as a second of free time. For these juvenile offenders, time meant trouble. So there was school, 7 hours broken only by a 20-minute gulp and gag lunch. The rest of each day, from 5 a.m. wake-up until lights out at 9, the 18 boys and 12 girls worked the farm, tilling, planting, fertilizing, pruning, and picking. They tended the chickens and fought with the geese, and they milked the cows. Aiden hated milking duty almost as much as he hated Sunnydale itself and his reason for being there. Okay, animals weren't clean freaks, but that barn stank to high heaven and was hot as a sauna. To enter it was to stop breathing until the chore was done and you could stagger out, blue in the face and gasping for air. Milking was an art that he seemed incapable of mastering. Some of the residents could plunk themselves down on the stool, reach under the cow, and you'd hear squirt, squirt, squirt. Aiden would plaster his face against the flank of the beast, his hands working like pistons. The squirt, squirt, squirt never came. The frustration was maddening. He was a falconer, from a family known for its brains. His parents were both PhDs, respected scientists, or at least they used to be. No, don't go there. The cow was losing patience with Aiden's incompetence. It happened just the way it always did. First the twitching. In a few seconds it would turn its massive head and moo at him. Next, the shuffling and stamping, and then the kick. He would go one way, the stool would go the other, and the pail would be upended, spilling into the straw of the stall the few drops he had managed to squeeze out. His escape came a split second before the cow went into total revolt. Aiden jumped up and fled the barn, feeling sick and breathless, his tan jumpsuit drenched with sweat. What a wuss! Miguel Reyes walked toward the hen house, carrying a sack of chicken feed. Nobody's scared of cows. Dumbest animal on the planet, next to you. As he passed by, he made sure to whack Aiden on the side of his head with the heavy bag. Ow! Are you okay? Meg Falconer peered anxiously around the corner of the barn. Aiden could never quite get used to the sight of his 11-year-old sister in this terrible place. At 15, he was as old as most of the juvenile offenders banished to this prison camp. But Meg was just a kid, ripped out of 6th grade. Beat it, he hissed at her. Boys and girls were supposed to stay separated, except during classes and gulp and gag. Meg had never been big on following rules. She usually got by on a sweet smile and wide-eyed innocence, all fake. Are you going to let him get away with that? She demanded. Aiden stared at her. This isn't some self-esteem game about standing up to bullies. That guy was in juvie before this, for manslaughter. But where does it stop? She demanded. Mom and Dad, framed. The two of us, stuck away in the back of Beyond. We don't even know who we are anymore. If I pick a fight with Miguel, Aiden warned, I'll know exactly who I am. I'll be the dead guy in the morgue. Hey, came an angry shout. The supervisor who stormed over was named Ray. The residents called him Rage because he was always in one. In Aiden's opinion, that nickname could have gone to any of the other jailers at Sunnydale. There was a kind of permanent anger in the people who worked there, probably from dealing with delinquents like Miguel day in and day out. The Supes got sassed as often as they lived in a constant state of being bent out of shape. Ray was scowling as usual. Well, what do you know? Eagleson and Eagleson, a regular family reunion. Eagleson, that was their identity at Sunnydale. Falcon Eagle. Like this one was some kind of April Fool's prank. The court had ordered the change. After the media circus of their parents' trials, Falconer might as well have been Dracula, or as a last name. The judge said he didn't want the children suffering for their parents' crimes. If this isn't suffering, then what is? Aiden wondered angrily. We're banished to this old McDonald Hatta jail, mingling with dangerous offenders, while Mom and Dad rot in prison for something they didn't even do. He took a breath. The Falconer kids were at Sunnydale because none of their relatives would take them in. Who could blame the distant cousins for wanting to shield their own families from the scandal? A day didn't go by without Mom and Dad described as traitors in every newspaper in the country. Aiden and Meg had committed no crime. They were here because there was no place for them. Sorry, Ray, it won't happen again. His sister cut him off. That's funny, Ray. You're quick enough to catch us talking. But someone used a sack of feed as a deadly weapon. You missed that, didn't you? The supervisor's scowl deepened. You little snot. How'd you like to lose your telephone privileges for a month? That shut Meg up. Those weekly phone calls were the only contact the Falconer kids had with their parents in prison in Florida. All the contact we'll ever have. Luckily, Meg had the brains not to fight with the soup. She retreated to her work in the soybean fields, and Aiden steered himself for round 2 with the cows. But later, as he was busying his trap after Gulp and Gag, Meg stepped out in front of him, her eyes like lasers. She grabbed both his wrists with such intensity that it took all his strength to keep the dishes and cutlery from sliding to the floor. We have to get out of here, she murmured urgently. Get a grip, he whispered back. There's no way out of this place. We have to, she insisted. We're Mom and Dad's only chance. For a second, he thought he might start losing it right there in the mess. Wouldn't that show Miguel and the others how tough he was? The appeal? She shook her head fervently. The government will never let them go. The case is closed. We're the only ones who can prove our parents are innocent, and you know it. Classic Meg. She didn't live in the real world. Escape was impossible. But even if they could get away, then what? How could 2 kids come up with evidence that would clear the Falconers after so many top lawyers had failed? And then there was the question he dreaded most of all, the unthinkable thought, the one he dared not ever speak aloud, even to his own sister. What if he and Meg set out to exonerate their parents, only to discover that they had been guilty all along?